Hello, good morning.
How are you?
I'm just tired.
Ditto, ditto. How come you're tired?
Oh, we're in week 5 of the granddaughter and the nephew.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I left one of my downstairs windows open this morning. I shut everything up
Mm,
and I didn't realize, so my house is like 70
uh,
degrees right now. So
uh,
I have a heat pump that works in reverse.
hmm
Finally put that on, but it exhausts me. The heat is exhausting me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your hair is getting long. It looks really pretty.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, it's always sort of I guess like sometimes I'm not really like a person who pays much attention to styling and I cut my
Yeah.
bangs myself and they were like, perhaps you shouldn't have done that. Okay, they're a little short, they'll grow out.
They'll grow out, right? That's right.
So
I
I'm
think we
like,
have the same uh, idea. My son has
yeah.
been cutting my hair for a long time.
hmm
And he recently couldn't do it, so I went to a barber, but they did the same thing that he does, So
Yeah, yeah. So I'm
yeah.
like,
I want to go over, if you don't mind, this is also 4 minutes of your own time. So
no, sure. No, no, no,
yeah.
of course.
I just want to talk about the flag raising and stuff.
hmm
I asked Angela because I didn't think we had one to buy Disability Pride flag.
I bought it. So wait, it's in and I have it already.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Oh,
Yeah. hmm
fabulous. And I can't remember what time we're starting, but we were trying not to conflict with the movie, but still be.
Right. So we're starting the flag raising at 4 p.m. So it's just before your town council meet. Do you have, I guess you do have a town council. No.
No, not on
Yeah,
Wednesday.
yeah,
No,
right.
no, it's the
Yeah, yeah,
movies. It's the
yeah,
night of the movie.
right. And the movie starts at 5. So
Oh, I thought it started at 4:30. Okay,
no,
great,
no,
great.
no. Um, so the proclamation and the flag raising will happen at 4, and the movie will start at 5. And Myra and Jim are meeting with Paul at 3, so they have a full afternoon.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. All right. But they'll some of the folks will be, hopefully the whole committee will be at the reading and the movie and
Right, hopefully,
yeah.
yes.
Good morning, Myra.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I finally got here. My computer seems to be having electrical problems.
I'm
Uh,
having electrical problems.
Well, the wire, I think the connector where the wire goes in is not exactly good.
mm,
Hmm.
So when it seems to stop charging and it doesn't tell me until it runs out. So if I
Oh,
disappear, then you'll know why.
yeah. Well, hopefully you won't disappear.
Well, I've done it before.
Yeah.
yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It just, it just
Uh,
goes like all of a sudden it's gone.
Mm,
And like, oh, what happened now? It's always a different, yeah, I think this computer might be ending the end of its life. Its life is fine, but it doesn't pay with a 6-year-old computer to go
mhm.
having them put in a new charging port.
Right, right.
no, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
I think you're right. So
Anyway,
I
Mhm.
haven't looked at the agenda at all. I should probably shrink all of you and then go look at it.
So the first thing on the agenda under old business is the Disability Pride Month film
Oh, good.
screening. So that's and then for new business, we have Rob Moore, who's supposed to be joining us today, and then the proclamation I put under new business. But we can combine that with the
yeah,
first conversation.
Yeah,
yeah.
I
And
hope yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry,
oh,
Pamela.
no, no, that's all right. And then there was a request from a Western New England faculty member, Dr. Murray, um, and the Illinois bill banning masks. And I don't know if
Eh,
uh,
Banning what?
Illinois bill
masks.
banning mass bans. It's a double negative, which is not great. Yeah.
This all came about because in Nassau County on Long
Mhm.
Island, there is it's not a bill, it's been enacted, prohibition against wearing masks.
Mhm.
What the
Do
fuck?
you hear me? It's weird. This sounds weird to me. Do you hear
Yeah.
me?
Yo, you're loud and clear to us.
Oh, okay. Um, and Ian uh brought it to the attention of one of the state reps who isn't ours. And I don't know where his conversations went, but I think it would be good. Apparently, Illinois has legislation that is banning that kind of ban on masks.
Banning the ban.
Mhm.
Yes.
Banning. Okay,
Yeah.
I get it now.
Yeah.
Okay, I do want to say one thing. The proclamation has already been approved by the council. So I hope you guys like it because I made the correction that you wanted.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Okay.
Mhm. Yeah.
but I was afraid that if we waited till today, then it wouldn't go to the council till whatever. So,
Well, thank you for doing it.
well, I was glad to do it. I learned a lot by doing it.
Really?
So,
Why?
well,
Well,
because I did.
I guess we're being recorded, right?
Yes, we are.
Oh,
Yeah. Can we not turn that recording on until we start these meetings? Because
We-
because I've been using language I don't think.
no, it's really a problem, actually.
So we can, but what happens generally is that IT will edit out the beginning initial conversations.
Okay.
And
Okay.
so it's it ensures that we're recorded if I automatically set
That
the
makes sense.
the um, the Zoom for recording. And we've had issues in the past uh, where we forgot to hit record. So one of the most beautiful human rights commissions meeting that was just absolutely fantastic did not get recorded.
Oh, no.
So it's just it ensures that there is a recording if it's automatically set for recording.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because we really can't even have a personal conversation because you don't know what's being recorded. Is there anybody here besides you and me?
No, you would know if there's anybody.
Yeah,
Well,
there's no
now
one in
here's Guilford,
Oh,
but
okay.
but
But well,
and
we don't have
Ian
anyone else from the committee,
Hey, and
from
Ian
the
just
commission. Oh,
arrived,
Ian's here. Okay.
right? And Saren did inform us
I
that
know she's not
she's
going to
not
be
going to be
here.
able to make it. I
So
have not.
we're looking for Cody. Oh, right. We're down Elise
Right.
and we're down Saren.
Mm-hmm.
So we only have the ability, if we have Jim
We
and
need.
Ian and me, we need Jim or
Right.
Cody.
Right.
Right.
To have a quorum.
Right.
yeah,
I'm not
have a
sure that.
meeting.
Yeah. I'm not sure that there's anything that would require necessarily a a
Well,
huge
we don't
vote
need a
today.
vote. No,
Right. But
but it would have been good. Um, well, some of the discussion we need to have will happen next Wednesday between you, me, and Jim. And
mhm.
so,
So here's Cody
oh,
now.
Oh,
there's
yeah,
Cody.
right.
Yay,
Yeah.
Cody, we have a quorum now.
Okay. So I
Okay.
will begin by reading the um, beginning of the proclamation or the agenda. I don't know, proclamations on the brain. So the Commission for Persons with Disabilities will meet virtually pursuant to Chapter 2 of the Acts of 2025, extended through June of 30th of 2027, the ability of bodies to meet in a fully remote or hybrid manner. Members of the public who wish to access the meeting may do so via Zoom or by telephone. See the instructions. Uh, at the meeting, the commission will conduct the following business: a roll call, old business, new business, a general public comment period, any other business not anticipated within 48 hours, and adjournment. So with that, Myra, I can turn it over to you.
You're muted, Myra.
Now you can, okay, it's much better now. All right. So we need a roll call. And Cody Rooney, you're here, right?
He's muted. There you go.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Ian Rodwald,
Rotowalt here.
Rodewald. Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, you're here. And then we have Pamela Young.
I'm here. Yes.
I forgot. I remembered this time that you're a real member now. And Myra Ross. So we have 4 of our current 6 members. And I expect that we might have 5. I know Saren can't be here today. So the first thing on the agenda is to talk about next week's showing of the film, The Ride Ahead, that we're sponsoring at the Bang Center at 5:00. Or is it 5:30? No, 5:00.
5
Right?
o'clock. Yes,
Okay.
that's correct.
5:00. And Pamela, have you secured the film and everything with the
Yes,
company?
I
Okay.
purchased the film last week, so it is secure. I
Okay.
also purchased the flag for the Disability Pride Month flag raising, where we should be all set. I have lemonade and we'll pick up some water and some additional snacks for the event.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And Sam did do another publicity press release about the film. So the one thing that is missing, and I will follow up on that today, I did try to secure ASL translation. They received my request, but I have not received notification that they've been able to secure a translator. So
I thought that there was something in the film that did you get the materials? Because when I looked at the film website, it it said there was ASL in the film.
there may be ASL in the film. I have not downloaded the film. So we purchased the film as a download and we have it for a specific period of time. I'm going to reach out to IT to make sure that we download everything correctly and it's ready to go for next Wednesday. But I purchased both the educational materials and the film last week.
Okay.
Mhm.
So how do we look at the educational materials?
I'll need to download them. So I can do that in advance, but I did not, I want to make sure that it's downloaded properly. So I'm going to reach out. I made the purchase last week after July 1st because it needed to be made
Right.
within
The
this fiscal
year.
year.
Yeah.
But I have not reached out to IT to have them assist me in making sure that the download and everything is correct. But I will do
Okay.
that before next week.
So it would be good if we could get the educational materials in advance, maybe
Great.
to look at them. Or at
Uh,
least I would like to look at them.
Sure, I will reach out to IT after this meeting and try to make sure that they're mailed out to the group
Okay.
within, if not today, within the next day or so.
Okay, cool. All right. So we have the film. We're going to show the film. We're going to have like a little meet and greet after the film and brief discussion of the film. And that's the plan. And we're ending it at 7:30, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. All right. Prior to that, we're going to have a reading of Pat's proclamation that the town council has approved for Disability Pride Month. And I don't know I've never been to one of these. So what do they do, Pat?
I've never been to one either. This is
Oh.
like a first.
Okay.
But for our flag raising, basically,
Right.
we'll read the proclamation and then hoist the flag.
So like it's a real flag that goes up a flagpole?
Yeah, outside of
Oh
town.
my God. Okay.
And it would be great if members of the committee helped hoist the flag instead of, the council. The council will read the proclamation. But it'd be great if you guys hoisted the flag.
So like there's a rope to pull?
Yeah, and yeah,
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, we could take turns pulling the rope, or one person could do it, or however we decide.
right, yeah.
Does anybody on the committee have any preferences for how we do this?
Well, I think we have to keep in mind that not everybody's going to be able to do it.
Correct.
And so it may just make sense to designate someone, such as the chair or some, to do the flag hoisting. That
I
might,
could do it. Ian could do it. I assume you and Cody might not be able to do it. And I don't know how low the rope goes down, so I don't know if Saren could do it either, because
Yeah,
I don't know anything about flagpoles.
basically it's a loop, a circle of
Mhm.
rope. And the flag, somebody will help us attach the flag. And then basically you do a hand over hand pull and it goes up.
Yeah, but how low does the rope come down
I'm
to?
trying to figure that out. You
Huh.
don't have to, it's probably about chest level and, I'm
Yeah.
not sure. I haven't,
Okay,
it's
Right.
because
one of
like
those things I haven't thought about.
I'm short. People who are sitting in wheelchairs are shorter.
Right, that's, yeah.
And so
It'd be great if we could check that out
Yeah.
if,
Yeah. So I'll walk over to the flagpole today. I did with the help of I think Melina, our former AmeriCorps member, hoist the flag for Pride Month. So I don't think it was as low as waist level, but I do think it might be possible for everyone on the committee to do hand over hand. Like it's not as far as waist level for someone who's standing, but from a seated position, you might be able
yeah,
to grab the lower end and
if your hands will do
right,
that. Yeah,
right, exactly. Yeah.
yeah.
So,
So,
but I will check that
okay,
out, and I purchased the flag, so we have the flag.
okay. How much was that?
The flag was, I believe, like $71.
Wow. Okay.
did that come out
All
of
right.
the commission's budget or?
It did not come out of the commission's budget because the commission hasn't gotten any money yet.
Correct.
It came out of the purchase of the flag and the film came out of the diversity, equity, and inclusion budget for
thank
special
you.
activities.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, thank you. And I guess that means that we should hold on to this flag, wrap it up nicely, store it where we actually know where it is so that we can use it again if we need to use it again.
Well, it would be great if you could, this is my personal opinion, I'm sorry, I shouldn't be sharing it, but it would be great if every July there was a celebration of and hoisting of a pride flag for people with disabilities. And a reading of whatever version of the proclamation the council and you want to have read publicly, but I think it really is an
Well,
important moment for this town to get to see.
all right. I don't really understand the whole pride flag thing. I don't have a blind pride thing in me. I don't have a disability pride thing in me. So I don't get it and I don't know what it should say and I don't know what it means to the people for whom it is meaningful. So I think I'm not the one to ask about this.
So we
Um,
will, oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
We will retain the flag and it will be available. I think some coordination will be necessary going forward. I was a little bit concerned because in a recent press release from the town, um, the Tibetan flag is also raised
It's
during
only going to be up
July.
for 2 days or something.
Yeah, so I inquired from Angela Mills whether it was possible to have two flags at the same time because ideally you would want this flag to be flying all month as opposed to what we're doing, which is coordinating it with the event. So I mean, I think that there's definitely a possibility that going forward it could be flown and we'll just need to coordinate if there are other flags raised at the time. And then Cody has his hand raised, so
Okay, Cody.
I think you going for it's would be nice if it's for every year, all month, because it does show the town's commitment to disability. And yeah,
Thank you,
So
Cody.
you'd like it to be every year that the town commemorates people with disability, right? That's what you said? Okay,
yeah.
okay. All right. So I don't know how big the flag is. Do you have a place to keep the flag, Pamela?
yes, we do. Well, I'm not sure where the other flags that are stored, but I mean, it came via mail, so it's a little smaller than the standard size that Angela had suggested. She had suggested like 4 by 6, but that was not, I did not find that available. So it's a little smaller than that, but it's the one, I think it's maybe 3.5 by 5. So
Okay.
yeah,
I just want to make sure we don't lose it.
no, nope, I have
Okay.
it.
Okay. I mean, you'll have it till next week, but then they take it down. You
Right.
don't take it down. Somebody else takes it down. They lose, they give it to somebody to put someplace and then we don't know where it is. So
Yeah.
I want to
So
make sure we know where it is.
yeah, so generally it's DPW and they're pretty good about handing over both banners and flags because they don't have storage space.
Okay.
So they don't want to hold on to
Okay.
things. Yeah.
Okay. All right. And so that's at 4:30 and that's in front of town hall.
It's at 4 o'clock.
Four.
Four.
Oh, it says 4:30 on
That I
something.
had requested 4:30, but town council voted to have it at 4 o'clock.
Oh, okay.
There
And it's
was a,
in front of town hall?
Yes. Mhm.
Okay. So if we can be in front of town hall, which Jim, Pamela, and I will just be leaving, but if anyone else can come to town hall at 4 o'clock, that would be great. All right.
invite friends, invite
What?
lots of people.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
I said, invite friends, invite lots of people. Oh,
Well, hopefully we can get some of the people who come early to the movie. Well, I guess it's not at 4:30. All right, so it's at 4 o'clock. And then we can go in and put the food out.
Exactly. Mhm.
Do we have to arrange the chairs and the projection? Are we doing all the projecting or is there someone?
So that will also be part of my conversation with IT to make sure, because the
Okay,
film is downloaded, we do have video screen and projection in the large activity room. There should be a facilities staff here to set up chairs and tables. If not, there's generally some evening staff, but if the evening staff is not available next week, day staff will set up everything before they leave.
okay. And did we send anything to Northampton and East Hampton and Holyoke and any of those other commissions?
So Sam did send out the press release to Northampton and to East Hampton. And I'm not sure anything was sent to Holyoke, but the other commissions that were involved
Okay.
in the Tri-City effort were provided
And what about the
information.
Gazette?
She did a press release. I'll have to go back and take a look at it to see if it went to the Gazette, but normally it would go to the Gazette as well.
Okay. All right. We just want to make sure we
Hmm.
have the publicity. All right. The next agenda item, unless anybody has anything else to say about the events of next Wednesday, does anyone? Hearing none, we can move on to the next thing on the agenda, which I have to find it.
So, so it's Rob Mora.
Is Rob here?
Yes, he is.
Oh, great. Hi, Rob. Welcome to our meeting.
Hi, everyone.
I think, as I recall, the reason that we had you come was because of the confusion that surrounded the MOD grant application. Because normally we write a letter of support for the grant application, which I don't think is insignificant. And this year we weren't able to do that because we didn't really know what you were applying for until like, I was like the day before or something. I don't even know. But we need to figure out how we can work together better to get these um, things done so that we can be supportive and that we can have some voice in what grant is applied for. We don't have the final decision, but we didn't feel like we had a voice. So does anyone on the commission have anything to add to that?
I think you said most of it, Myra, and very well. I mean, I guess I would just point out that this is not the first time we've had a lack of communication with the planning commission. And I think I understand that there have been staff vacancies there and all that, but nevertheless, going forward, we have to do a better job.
So that's one topic. The other thing that I don't know what your role is, Rob, in like the HP parking signage for behind town hall, for example. Whose job is it to determine whether what's there is in compliance with the mass the whatchamacallit, MAAB regulations, and whose job is it for us to talk to about what came up last month was the bathroom facility at Mill River. I haven't been in it in many, many decades, I have to say. But apparently it's a real problem and it isn't in compliance with the ADA. It was built prior to the ADA, but that was a long time ago. And we want to make sure that the renovations that are done, that we know what renovations are going to be done and that they are going to comply. So are you the top ADA accessibility compliance person, or who do we talk to about those things?
Okay.
So that's the two questions.
Yeah, we got a lot here. Thanks for
Yeah.
having me. And we can come back to the confusion about the Munson in a little bit, but just generally, just a little overview of what I do in the areas of, that I work in. So, obviously with planning staff, if there's a grant or something being prepared to seek funding for a project, we're involved with that, and something, then either moves on it from that point to either managed by the facility staff as a capital project or a project, or comes to my office because of a building permit application. So there's usually a couple of ways that I am at least involved or aware of most of these projects. There are other projects that just kind of head down the path towards public works oversight. If there's crosswalks or sidewalks or road work, I don't typically get too involved with those after possibly a grant application. So and to confuse things even more, on the facility side, so we are inspection services, conservation, development, planning, and facilities management. The facilities management is a small number of buildings in town. It does not include the school buildings. It doesn't include a number of the other buildings that might be managed by the Public Works Department or the Rec Department or other entities. So we have about 13, and we're picking up more buildings every year, but we have a certain number of buildings that we manage. The bath house buildings that you were describing, the facilities department does not manage those. So it's not something I would have been a part of that conversation, and I'm not sure of what you discussed in the last meeting, or if I can even comment on that. But when something comes to the point where it requires a building permit, that's when my office is responsible for compliance with Mass AAB. So all of the work is reviewed through the building permit application process for compliance with accessibility rules and regulations.
So if it doesn't involve a permit, it doesn't go to you.
We may not see it. So if I'm not involved or my office is not involved in some other way with the project, it's possible that I wouldn't even be aware of it.
Okay, let's stop there. Anybody have any questions so far? No. Okay. So for example, the parking behind town hall, HP signage is apparently not correct. As a person who can't see it, I can't tell you. Jim, you want to talk about the signage issue? And then Rob, if you can tell us, like, whose job is it to know that and to do something about it?
I think the problem as the parking lot is currently configured is that there are two spaces that are designated as HP. And one is very clearly marked, and that's larger. The other one is there is a sign, but it's typically fallen over or tipped over. I think anytime anybody backs into it or runs into it, it falls over. And then it just sort of stays there until, I don't know, sooner or later, maybe somebody picks it up. So that has been a point of frustration for folks who are trying to use it. And obviously it can lead to some confusion. So that's basically the issue there. There is signage. It's not designed to be permanent signage. And so I think it's stuck in a bucket filled with concrete. That's my recollection of it, although I could be wrong about that. So it's very easy to tip over.
Yeah, those signs, they do take quite a bit of abuse, and I believe the Public Works Department was out there making repairs recently. They are cored into the ground. They're not just up in buckets that get, pushed around or moved around, but they do get backed into and damaged for sure. We've seen that before. So the parking areas like that, or what you'll see in other locations, are typically designed and maintained by the Public Works Department. It isn't something the Facilities Department would have oversight of. If there's some reason that the project was permitted, through either land use permitting with one of the boards or committees, planning board, zoning board, or required a building permit, maybe it was a site package that was part of a larger building permit application, we would be reviewing it. But in other cases, we're not always seeing the work that's proposed or even done on a maintenance or repair schedule. That would be something the public works staff would typically just handle. And I did see them out there recently doing work on those signs that you're talking about.
Okay, so I'm still a little confused. When you hire an architect for a project, the architects are schooled in the MAAB regulations. They have to be. But who in the town knows about the MAAB regulations for things that don't require a building permit?
Well, there's probably several, people that would be involved. So that, if there's a project that the town manager might be working on that doesn't require building permits, he generally knows to, seek guidance from us. I know working with the DPW staff, that the engineering staff is very well informed with Mass AAB rules, and spent a lot of time laying out, say, the paint lines for parking areas or striped zones and signs. I've watched them work on projects like that. I've seen projects that are managed by the sustainability director. that don't necessarily need permits from my office, and she has contacted me to get some guidance on AAB rules. So there is certainly communication between the departments, but there isn't. I didn't want to represent that I am the end of every possible a accessibility project because I don't know that I am.
Okay, so Pamela, as the ADA coordinator, I don't know if they've ever talked to you about MAAB rules. And are you the go-to person? I mean, this is just because we need to know who to talk to when we have a question. Because
Right.
if we talk to the wrong person, they'll say, well, it's not my job. And then we don't know whose job it is. And then we don't even know who to talk to get it done.
So I have been, or this role, the DEI role, has been designated as the ADA coordinator, but no one has ever asked me any ADA related questions. And I get do the training through the Mass Office of Disability. So I've
Yeah.
gone through, I think maybe 4 separate
Oh, wow.
certificate
Okay.
programs. Um,
So you know a lot of the rules, but nobody's asking you.
no one's asking me, correct. I think the
Okay.
only time that we are receiving information, and then it's sort of sporadic, is when there's a permitting
Like
question.
a grant.
Because right.
Yeah.
Or not
Yeah.
even a grant, but I mean grants on occasion, but a permitting, like by if they're seeking a variance, then they're which would normally come to this commission, then we're getting information, but other
Got
things
it.
are not. So Guilford is here and he's on
Oh,
camera, and I'm guessing that he has something to add to this
that would be
conversation.
great. I didn't know you were here, Guilford. So great. So how do you, I mean, we need to know who to talk to because like last time we talked to you about the Mill River bath house, and you said that was not anything that you had any uh control over. And so we need to know who to talk to. So what can you add to this so we know what to do?
So for the bathhouse, we do not have any control over whether we do an ADA project in there. That would be a capital project, and someone would have to go to the ADA plan and say we want to do this, and that's not something we would do. Everything in the bathhouse functions, so we would not be doing a major renovation. That usually comes from the ADA plan and someone saying we need to do it, and then we would get involved in it.
Okay.
As far as training goes, my staff goes through a great deal of training, and I actually get a little upset about it. It costs a bit of money, but they are often going to ADA trainings with Mass DOT and with disabilities people as well. The disabilities training is actually good because it's usually free. I like that.
Yep.
Mass DOT, their training costs a little bit. Don't like that. Uh, but they go through a lot of training too. So there's a lot of people in the town that know what the rule is.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right. Anybody have any questions for Guilford?
If you want to make the recommendation to the council that you think that should be the #1 priority for an ADA project to bring it into compliance with the plan, that should be, you could say that, and then it would go to the town manager, and that would become his priority for his ADA projects, is how I understand it.
So we're supposed to go to the council with that? Is that
You,
your understanding too, Pat? I think you're muted if you're
Off
there.
mic, yeah.
Pat, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, okay.
Here. I'm not completely sure. I mean, if you brought something to the town manager that involved a capital project, it would have to go through the council and stuff like that, but
Got it. Okay, so
I'm,
go to
I'm
him.
not,
Okay,
yeah,
right.
I'm not sure. I wish,
Okay. All right. So Rob, you said we'd go back to the Munson thing. So what did you actually apply for?
Yes.
And
Yep. So there were more than one application made over the last several years. We weren't successful until the last round, but the application was basically the same scope. So we had proposed or prepared a conceptual plan to complete, to accompany the application to provide a accessible walkway around the building to the south door of the main hall. And that was a plan and a proposal that did get the support of the then DAAC for the first application, and then again on the last application that was recently awarded.
Correct.
What didn't come to the now commission recently is the final plan. So the final plan didn't change from the conceptual plan and was presented to the planning board about a month ago and got some feedback from the planning board, mainly to save some landscaping that exists at the site now. And we're in the middle of that process, and I did create a revised plan that adjusted the walkway slightly to save the rhododendron that's on the corner of the brick wall. Same, no different in the conceptual approach, just, taking a 90-degree turn, stretching it and curving the walkway a little bit, about 6 feet. That's something the planning board hasn't reviewed yet. They will review it at their next meeting and comment on it. So they have kind of the two choices in front of them, one that saves the shrub and one that doesn't. And, that's where we are. So we weren't able to move forward with the MOD award that was made. And we notified the office that we weren't able to, fulfill that contract, and we reapplied for the same project using the same documents unchanged for this current round, because we had made that decision the day we spoke to them. So we had a 5 o'clock deadline to make the submission, and we did with the same application, and we didn't have any other proposal to make.
So why didn't we go ahead? Because we were awarded last year's grant. Why did we not go ahead with that?
We did not get it ready, permitted, and bid in time to be able to meet their completion date. So when we finally got bids back, I think it was the end of May or just the beginning of June, we had this unresolved walkway design with the planning board. We contacted the MOD office to get guidance from their their manager there, and they basically told us there's no way we could proceed because we couldn't be substantially complete by the end of June to satisfy the contract requirements. So we were advised to not move ahead and reapply, and that's what we did.
Okay, any comments from the commission? Or questions?
Pat has her hand raised.
Yeah,
Okay.
I would like, wouldn't it have been simpler and cheaper and allowed the project to go ahead to simply move the bush over instead of redesigning the walkway with a 90-degree turn, It just seems like, and I feel like it was a decision by the planning board that got in the way of an important project going forward.
No, I don't think so. The decision with the planning board didn't put us in the position where we ultimately had to delay the project. We
Okay.
with staff capability, writing specifications, I actually did the design work myself. By the time all of that came together and we got through procurement and bid the project in May, and started looking at the timeline, checking with the contractor to see what their performance could be through June. We just had this question that we had to ask the state honestly, because we knew we weren't going to meet their deadline, and that we took their advice. So, the rhododendron question is still unresolved, and, they'll look at the redesign and decide. We're not under any urgent timeline to get that decided at this point, but we will over the next meeting, hopefully, or two at the most. But that was not the reason why the project didn't go forward.
So
I guess, go ahead, Jim.
yeah, are we talking about staff shortages in the planning department that impacted this whole process here? I have to tell you, I mean, this is really frustrating to listen to.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's part of it. So we've been down a full-time planner since September, and that position still isn't filled. And then what happens with a project like this is once the contracts are signed that are managed by the planning staff and ultimately signed by the town manager, it gets handed off to somebody. Some of these projects go to Guilford and his staff handles them. Some of them, like this project with Munson, goes to our facilities staff. And our facilities manager is a team of one individual handling all the capital projects and bidding and writing project specifications, technical specifications for bidding. And, he took that on, worked it into his schedule when he could, ultimately came to me and asked for assistance with design work, developing plans. And, when I got involved and we pulled everything together, it was just, here we are in end of April, beginning of May. So I think it's just a combination of, staff availability at, all the different groups that touch a project like this.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that it's hard to prioritize all the different kinds of projects that the town faces. I mean, from my perspective, I'm just speaking as a member of the commission. I'm not saying this is how the commission feels. Um, it getting funds to make any access improvements in the town of Amherst is from the state or from the town is like squeezing blood from a stone. And so it's really frustrating to have this process unfold the way it did. And there's no guarantee we'll get money for next year. I mean, I
That's
hope we do,
right.
and we may well, but there's no guarantee. And so we could have really lost out on a significant opportunity.
You're
Right.
certainly
No,
speaking for me. Go
and,
ahead.
to add to that, we struggle when we're preparing for these applications as well. So, right now would be the time, if staff were available to be preparing materials for the next round of applications, and we're constantly unable to do that. And I think that's why when we came to this current round that we're in now, we didn't have a project. We didn't have a project, and we ultimately just packaged up the same that we had because of the situation with not being able to move forward. But if we were moving forward and accepting that application or accepting that award, we wouldn't have had anything to submit this year anyway. Uh, it's just something we constantly struggle with.
Okay, so with that in mind, does it make sense? Is it feasible? Is it reasonable to have initial meetings in the summer or early fall around just identifying possible projects? Or we could review the Bang Center materials that you had been talking about as a possibility. Those kinds of things so that we're in a better position come March or April.
I think that'd be great. I think we really need to get into some kind of a cycle like that. I'd also like to learn more about what types of projects the commission does want to review. So, we have a lot of other projects, that aren't state grant funded projects or capital projects or CPA projects. Whether it's improvements at trail access parking areas or other small capital projects that we're working on through our facilities department. We have a lot of different projects, and I think as maybe Pamela mentioned, the projects that the items that went to the commission that we knew had to are typically variance requests or very large projects that that the whoever's managing the project is looking for feedback in during the design phase. But we have other things that we design in-house that are much smaller. So I think it's going to be good to learn what it is, what types of projects the commission wants to see. And for example, does the commission want to see a 6-foot adjustment to a walkway, like we have with the Munson project? That's changing very, very slightly. And probably wouldn't have thought that the commission would have wanted to take time to review a change like that. But it'd be good to know if that is something that we should be building into our routine that hasn't been in the past.
Well, I don't use a wheelchair, but if I don't know it, but there are two people in this call who do. And if you make a curve around a rhododendron, what does that, how does that impact navigating with a wheelchair? I don't know. Does it impact it, Jim, such that we would want to talk about how to do it? Or does it not impact it?
So are you asking whether a curve is easier to navigate than a 90-degree turn?
Yeah, I don't know I mean, it would seem to me a curve is easier to navigate, but
I
maybe
think
I'm
it
wrong.
depends on the space of the walkway and how wide the walkway is going to be. Well, you definitely don't want it so that it's difficult. You don't want the chair to go off the path. And
Right.
so if it's a relatively narrow walkway and it's 90 degrees, then that's a challenge. I'm not sure what you're looking at the, what Rob is looking at the Munson Library pathway.
Yeah,
I-
the walkway width is 5 feet wide throughout the entire length of it. And this 90-degree turn was stretched slightly to get away from the root ball of a tree that was located right on that corner. So, in both cases, they comply with the regulation. So it would be, if there's guidance on a preference, we have 90-degree turns onto the walkway from the main approach, and then 90-degree turns from the walkway into the door of the building. So I had a 90-degree turn midpoint, and that's the one that, is looking at possibly being adjusted to a curve. But we've designed walkways both that curve and, make hard 90-degree turns. Generally, their walkways are not less than 5 feet in width, and will we will approach obstructions and maintain 3 feet wide if we need to, while you pass by an obstruction, like some kind of a post or a sign or a pole of some sort. But we're usually not designing walkways that narrow.
And 5 feet, it shouldn't be a problem as far as navigating, whether it's 90 degrees or not, as far as making the turn in a wheelchair. So
Okay, so the question is that Rob asked is what kind of projects do we want to get involved in? And it's a reasonable question because I don't know how many, oftentimes we don't know something went wrong until it did because somebody has trouble with it. So I mean, ideally somebody should look at it all. It's always good to have a second person or a second somebody looking at it. But whether we want to see every little project you do, I don't even know how many projects you do. I don't think it's feasible for us to look at everything, but perhaps so perhaps there has to be some communication on we're building a X around this or Y. Do you think you need to see it? And that's just more work for you. And I don't want to make more work, but so that's one set of questions. The other set of questions really has to do with this whole process for the MOD grant. I mean, I don't remember how much money they gave us. Pamela, do you?
It was $100,000.
Okay, we lost $100,000. And that's not insubstantial. We have no guarantee we're going to get it back. They probably figure Amherst just, we gave them money and they didn't even spend it. They're so disorganized. And who knows if they'll fund it again? They have way too many applications for all the funding that they get, that they have to give out. And then we go and we don't spend the 100,000. And I don't know if they're going to give us another grant for the same project. So I feel absolutely terrible about this. And it just didn't seem that complicated. It wasn't anything that needed to be constructed except walkways. And I don't know.
Well,
I mean,
the complicated piece is that, to receive this grant, you don't really need detailed information. And the sketch that was prepared and a very basic cost estimate and write-up for the grant application isn't enough for uh, for us to go to bid and bring in a contractor. I can tell you the work that we did in-house probably would have been, $10 or $12,000 with an architectural firm to design the walkway and the ramp and the approach and the door adjustments that need to be made. The process doesn't build in enough time to do that. Even if we were, able to commit the funds to it, you have a 3-month procurement process to bring on, whether it's a contractor or a professional service, and then you have to bid a project and go to construction. So when you're trying to do something in a 5 to 6 month period from when we get the award, we have to move fast, and we weren't prepared to move fast this time. 2 years ago, we've done projects. We did a project at the Bangs patio and an entry
Yep.
replacement. That one we moved faster, and we were able to get uh, you know get a contractor on board and to do the project on a very short time frame. And this one we just weren't able to make all the pieces come together.
Well, I hope they'll fund it again and give us another shot at it. It's a community building, it's a polling station. And there were some changes. Well, when we thought it was going to be bid the first time, we actually talked about it wouldn't have gone into the 100,000, so that's okay. But this time I thought we were going to maybe even look at the front of the building to create some handicap parking spaces, because there really isn't anywhere to park in front of the library that is easy for people to use. Then they could go up the path, go over to the side door and get into the polling station, or get out of the polling station and go back to their car. And there wasn't even a walkway without those parking spaces. The walkway didn't go down to the road that goes back to the church parking lot. So we were thinking that that would be phase 2 of the project to facilitate the parking, but we've now lost phase 1. So we're back to the drawing board. And if we are awarded it again, I hope that there will be a way for us to not lose it the next time. I mean,
Agreed.
we can't undo whatever happened. So,
Agreed.
um,
Well,
all right.
I would also say that probably at least every other meeting and sometimes every meeting, folks bring up concerns, either committee members or or people from the community about changes they would like to see in access. And so we could really start to make a coherent wish list of things that we would like to see changed. Some of them could be MOD, some of them might be from other sources. But if that's the kind of stuff that we could discuss with, Rob in the early fall or something like that, that may help the whole process of getting funds for access improvements around. Because every meeting, almost every meeting, we really do talk about, this place has a problem, that place has a problem. And we're always kind of stuck in terms of where we're going to go with it. A lot of times there's just no money. So maybe as a
And
commission, we can spend some time thinking about that.
yeah, that would be great. And there actually is some money. So, that we have our capital funding with a commitment to improve accessibility, every single year. So we're always looking for projects. We're working on the Bangs, and that's a big project that we'll be taking on, both as part of the project that's funded that the council approved, but also with our own staff, we're taking on work there. But we are always looking for the best way to make improvements and making sure that we are making improvements every year. And just, this most recently with facilities capital money, we were able to supplement the work the DPW was doing at Mill River with the walkway and parking and access to the pavilion, and help that project go further than what they could have done with the funding they had. So, we teamed up on that one, and, we're always looking at controls and different things that we can do with smaller projects. But every year we are committed to, looking at the transition plan and the survey, and, coupling it with another project or just coming up with something on its own. So to get feedback from what you're hearing and even prioritizing, the projects or need would be good information for us to have.
Okay. All right. Does anyone have any, I mean, this is to be continued, I'm sure. Does anyone have any additional questions or parting ideas? No. Okay. Thank you, Rob, for being here.
Okay,
I
thank
really,
you.
I appreciate it. And, I guess what we're seeing is that we need better communication. And you need some more staff. We can't help you with that.
No, but we can keep working on it. Thank you all.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Bye.
Right. Myra,
Guilford, what? Yeah,
oh, I was just going to ask whether you had any additional questions for Guilford or whether he
yeah.
was free to
So
leave
the
as well.
questions for Guilford, we see they're taking, you can't go on Amity Street right now. So they're building that roundabout, right? At the corner there? Is that what they're doing? With University Drive? I think you're muted.
It's muted and he's off camera, so he might have stepped away from his computer screen.
Okay. Well, when you see him come back,
hmm
we can do that. Okay, so we can go to the
So next on the is the request from the professor, and I'm
professor.
gonna let me see if I can share screen, and so hopefully you all are able. I will describe. So we received a request from a faculty member at Western New England College who has started an online petition to change the sign. And so the traditional handicap parking space sign, it's a blue background, white figure with handicapped in quotations and with the person in a sort of seated stationary position. And then the new sign is a white figure on a blue background with the figure actually in, I would say, in motion with the word reserved. And so the petition would call for a change in the signage going forward that the town of Amherst would use the new signage. And pursuant to the email that she sent, I think there's at least one or two other communities in the Commonwealth who have taken on the um, who have requested a change in the signage from their municipalities. Just to summarize,
Supposedly Connecticut already has this.
that I do not know.
Okay,
So,
and I had said that we would look, and we were in New York for a week, and I forgot.
yeah.
And
I'll stop sharing now. The screen unless. Okay, so that's it.
Okay, so it's a white picture, or everything is on the dark blue background.
So everything is on the dark blue background. The figure in the traditional or the current sign has the figure seated in a wheelchair and what I would say like a stationary motion. And then the new sign has the same background color, but the figure is in a is moving. It's in a forward motion. So uh, it has the suggestion when you look at the sign of movement as opposed to being stationary. And then the traditional sign has the word
handicapped, and now it says
handicap
reserved.
reserved.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
So my question is it clear if you're not saying handicapped, if is the picture clear that it's for people who are using wheelchair vans or other, right? Is the picture clear what it's for? If it doesn't say handicapped, what Is the picture clear? Because
So-
sometimes I know that people go, oh, it says reserved. Well, it's right behind town hall. They don't work on Sundays. I'm just going to park here. Right? I know people do that.
So Cody has his hand raised,
Yeah.
so
Okay.
I'll let him respond to your question.
Since it's someone in a wheelchair, I would, if I was with no knowledge of anything, I would still assume it was handicapped. I wouldn't think, oh, it's for town employees. And I do like the language change. It's more respectable. And yeah,
So you like the idea for the change. It's certainly it's more inclusive. What I'm worried about is that if it's not really clear that it's reserved for people in wheelchairs, I mean, Pamela, don't people do that? You go into a certain place and you go, well, it's a Saturday and it says reserved, but it probably those people don't work on Saturday. So I can park there for 10 minutes or 20 minutes. I know people do that.
So I think that the signage is clear that it's supposed to be a reserved space, and I don't know that you would ever be able to stop people from using the space when they're not supposed to use it. But I think the signage is very clear. Reserved,
Okay.
I think, makes it very clear, right? And the person is the image is of an individual in a wheelchair but in motion. So to me, that seems very clear.
Okay. Anybody have any comments about it besides Cody?
I've seen this sign just recently at a CSA in Hadley. And it seems clear. My one concern had been I guess people it being new to people and thinking that it's different. And or like people maybe not understanding the universal language of the symbol that's already in place.
Is it a different symbol that the other, I mean, I can't see this. The other symbol is a universal language at this point. What
Right,
are you
right.
concerned that that the new one
No,
wouldn't?
I mean it's only just a slight angle for it's like a maybe 60-degree angle of the person sitting in the wheelchair as opposed to a 90-degree angle. So they're moving forward.
Got it.
It seems clear enough. And as Cody said, it does show a person in a wheelchair
Okay.
pretty clearly.
Okay. So what this professor would like is for this commission to endorse her request. Is that correct? And to in
That's-
some way write something to somebody, I don't know who.
But
What does she want?
So I think there are a couple of things, but before I review them, Rob Mora has his hand
Oh,
raised. So
I
he
didn't know you were
wants-
here anymore. Okay,
Thanks.
for it.
Yeah, glad I stayed because this actually comes up quite a bit. I get asked this a lot, and it's really comes up often. I think because, as someone mentioned, Connecticut does recognize and encourage the forward motion symbol, but Massachusetts has not. And there's firm guidance from AAB, and as recently as a last meeting I attended in May, where the executive director, spent some time talking about this specifically, that our job is to make sure that the traditional symbol is used in all of our signage to be in compliance with Mass AAB. So, I think any efforts to have that change probably should be directed to the Mass AAB as they're
Uh-huh.
rewriting their regulations and recommendations. Now, the wording, though, we can certainly change that or require one or the other, because that the word handicapped is not required to be on that sign. So using the word reserved instead, with the tradition or with the the universal symbol, not the forward motion symbol, would be something that would be in compliance and we could incorporate into our our requirements.
Interesting. So this came up at a meeting with the new executive director of MOD. Was it Jeff Dugan or was it?
No, of AAB, of the
of the
architect.
AAB.
Yes.
Okay.
Their executive director was giving a presentation to building officials as part of continuing education. And this was one item that came up specifically. And for me, it comes up regularly. In fact, our own project at the Bangs, the designers had used the forward motion symbol, and I had to ask them to remove it and go back in their signage plans to the prior symbol.
Okay.
And they, but they are working in other states and it's accepted in I'm sure more than just Connecticut surrounding us,
I heard New York also.
probably. Okay.
So the question for the commission really is, should we write to this professor and say that we are approving of her petition, but the petition has to go to the MAAB rather than wherever, I don't know where it's going to go, but that we cannot, so we should say that we approve of that petition, or, I mean, if we do approve of the idea, we should tell her that it needs to go to a certain place. How does the commission feel about reserved versus handicapped?
Cody has his hand up.
Go for it,
Yeah.
Cody.
Oh, that was from earlier, but I'm in support of the change.
Okay. How about Ian, Pamela, Jim?
I mean, I do worry a little bit about the switch from handicap to reserved, not because I'm attached to the word handicap, but simply because people recognize that. And of course, the people violate it all the time. And nevertheless, most people probably don't. On the other hand, if it's working in Connecticut, it's probably safe. The other thing I would add parenthetically is that, but I don't, this sign doesn't do anything to resolve the issue I'm about to raise, which is that you don't need to use a wheelchair to qualify for a disability parking placard. There's lots of conditions that will
Correct. Yeah.
get you that. And so that's
Too
part of
many,
the problem,
actually.
is that people expect to see somebody getting out of their car and into a wheelchair. And then when they see somebody who doesn't do that, then they get all upset and there's fraud going on, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, that's my take.
Yeah,
So
I
you're,
fall into that category. I have a temporary disability placard until the end of this month for my hip surgery from January.
ooh.
So yeah, I agree.
So you don't really care if it says handicapped or reserved?
No, I don't. Well, no, I think I would go for reserved.
And Jim, you were feeling like
I'm feeling that if it has worked in
in
Connecticut,
Connecticut, it's
then
okay.
I think we can go for that, because, the sooner we lose the whole handicapped terminology, the better off we'll be.
Okay. So I
So
guess we
this-
need a motion. Oh, yes, you
pa-
have an opinion, Pamela. Pamela no longer has to remain silent.
So I actually think that the traditional symbol with the change in wording would be a good compromise until there's a change at the state level that would allow the new symbol to be used. So you'd have the traditional symbol of the seated individual with the title reserved. And Rob has suggested that's something that the town could start doing when there's a sign to be replaced. And in the meantime, the options for supporting the petition for the faculty member would be to I can't, I think it might be change.org. I can't remember which website she's using, but individually, I think I forwarded to you all the link. So as individuals, you could choose to support her measure through the change.org petition. You would then also have the option to write to her that the commission is either in favor or not in favor of the change, and what your action you would want to take. And I'd have to check with Sam Giffen from the communications department, because I don't know, or from our communications director, I don't know if you can publicize her petition on your website, but those might be options for actions that you might be able to take.
Okay. Huh. I actually agree with you, Pamela. I think that, I mean, we don't need a motion to tell Rob that it's okay to do that, because he already decided that it's okay to do that. And it's because it's not in the law. I mean, so we could have a motion to support Rob in changing to reserve. And I guess we could do that. Can I get a motion from Rob in changing the language to reserved?
Motion.
You're moving it? Okay. Anybody going to second it?
I'll second it.
Okay. Is there any further discussion about it? So the motion really is to support Rob in changing, and not changing, but moving forward to use the word reserved on handicap parking spaces instead of the word handicapped.
Does it make more sense for the motion to be something along the lines of the commission recommends that the planning department moving forward, changes handicap signs to reserve signs, something along those?
Yeah, that's fine. It's more formal. Okay. I don't think it's planning department. I don't know who it is.
Okay,
It's the inspection department.
okay.
What would be the right thing for us to say there, Rob?
It could be both, or
Okay.
more, because, I think if we receive this communication from the commission, what I would do is ask my inspectors, not only on our own projects and our own work, is that we would ask that designers incorporate that into their sign designs for, any new sign that's being installed under a building permit. And then you're asking not only inspection services, the facilities department, but also public works, when they're replacing signs, that they're, kind of transitioning away from the use of the word handicap and
Right.
using reserve. And I think that can go kind of to everybody. And, we're happy to apply it on anything we're reviewing.
So we need a move that the friendly amendment for Cody, we move that the town of Amherst henceforth use the word reserved on handicap parking spaces. That's pretty general, correct? That'll do it?
Yeah, on any accessible parking space, if you
On
were
any
asking me.
accessible, yeah. Cody, do you accept the change?
Yes.
Okay, Ian, you seconded it. Do you accept
Yes.
it?
Yeah.
Okay.
All
right.
And I just went back to the email. Hold on, I had it here a second ago. It said that Salem, Cambridge, and Malden have all implemented the icon citywide. So I was just wondering how that falls into not changing it at the state level first, but at the municipal level.
It doesn't comply with the AAB. They
Okay,
just did it.
got it.
I mean, I'm okay with compliance with the AAB and changing the wording. And then when the AAB changes its mind, then the other ones can have the other one. I mean, they're not all going to look the same because we're not going to retrofit all the existing ones. So it's, it's a process, and hopefully they can make that change in the next fiscal year. And I mean, I think it seems to me you're not comfortable changing the language to, I mean, changing the icon to non-conforming, correct, Rob?
No, not at this time. It's really clear in the AAB. It showed, it provides the image, and the language in the document refers you to the image. And, we've gotten, pretty, pretty firm guidance on
Yeah.
that anytime it's been requested. So I'd
Okay.
rather, I'm not aware of any kind of blanket variance that a community has received. We could look into that if the commission was interested, or the commission can look into that.
Yeah,
But
we can find out how
um,
Cambridge did it,
we
because
do
yeah,
have
we don't,
one other, excuse me, we have one other situation, which is interior signage where the mounting height varies between ADA and AAB, and
right.
it's only 5 or 6 inches, and the AAB went ahead and said, yeah, you know what, if you put it at 60 inches instead of 54 inches, you're still in compliance. So there has been situations where, that has been, that has occurred at the state level, but it hasn't happened with this. And in fact, they keep saying, like I said, as recently as a couple months ago, you need to use this sign. So it doesn't seem to be any, they haven't made any movement on that yet.
Okay. All right. So the motion is to change it to reserved from handicapped, which can be done within the existing regulation. So I need a vote. All in favor, say aye.
I
Aye.
I
I heard everybody, and I'm an aye too. All opposed? No. Okay, so we have a unanimous 5-0. Okay, and as far as the, we'll just all go and sign the petition, and I can send an email to the petitioner that explains what you just told us, Rob, because it's not an official thing, but I can just say, to her, I can say FYI, this needs to go to the AAB, because in the AAB that the board is is still consistent with the old until they change it. So write to them about it. Okay. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it very much. Thank you for sticking around, because that was very helpful. Okay, there is one more thing that has to do with masks. Ian, where are you with this?
So it's been a little while. I don't have a resolution for the commission to present to the town council. But the bill is, there's two bills. One is at the state house and one's at the state senate. And the state house prevents bans on wearing masks. There's differences in the language between the two, and the other one makes personal protective equipment wearing available in all public spaces. So I don't have anything to vote on right now, but I will have that for August.
I don't think you need a resolution. I don't think you need to write anything up. I think we need to express a sentiment of the committee. But so there's one bill about personal protective equipment, making it available where?
Not making it, well, making it in all public spaces that you're allowed to wear it in all public spaces, and bans can't go into effect to wear them.
Okay. So do you know which is which?
The House one, which Representatives Lindsay Sabadosa in Northampton is sort of it's a double negative. It's against the bans, and then the Senate one is an amendment to a current existing law that makes it so that you can't be punished for wearing masks in public places.
So all we really need to do is have a motion that says we should inform our state representative and senator that we are in support of the bills that do this and that. We don't have to have the numbers. We don't need a resolution. I don't think that, I mean, if Pat, you're here, right? Pat, are you still here?
You're muted, Pat.
I am here.
Okay,
I
okay.
just don't operate computers very well.
Okay, so do we, I mean, we'll just let the town council know that we voted this, or we could request that you let the town, how do we do that? That we let the,
It would have to be, the letter would have to be voted on by the town council to send it to Sabadosa.
Okay.
So
So-
you folks drawing up the letter is important, and then it would be sent to the council. And
Okay.
it will get approved. I don't think there's going
Yeah.
to be any problem whatsoever with that.
okay, so we need to find out, I can write to, Joe Comerford's chief of staff is an Amherst High School graduate. And I happen to know him. You might too, Cody.
That's Jared, is that his name?
Yes, Jared Friedman, yeah. And Mindy Dom, I can write to personally, and I can just tell her, I could just find out what the bill numbers are.
I can
And
send
then-
you those this afternoon.
Oh, you're gonna do that?
I'll send you the information this afternoon.
Okay, all right, if you can find out the bill numbers, so I need a motion from the commission for us to go on record in support of bans on mask bans. And I think we need to say exempting ICE. I don't think we can say that though. They seem to not want to identify themselves. And this is the opposite. So I need a motion about whether the that for discussion purposes, I need a motion that says that the commission supports current legislation that would outlaw bans on masks and prohibitions against PPE.
I'll
Any-
make that motion.
Okay.
The State House bill by Representative Sabadosa and the State Senate bill by the senator whose name I'm blanking on right now.
Okay, we don't need the Sabadosa, we need the number.
Okay.
So that's what we need. If you give us the S blah, 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 or an H blah, 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 that's what we need. And then we'll just say what they do. Because it doesn't, for us, it doesn't matter who brought it up because they need co-sponsors. And if they're not co-sponsors, we want them to be. So I think we just need the subject matter.
Okay. Actually just pulled it up for the House one. It's HD 2968, an act relative to the right to wear personal protective medical equipment.
Okay, can you send that and the other one to me? And I
Yes.
can write something up this afternoon, but I need a second for the motion that Ian's made.
What is the motion? I'm sorry.
That we as a commission support our representative voting for this bill and our senator voting for the Senate equivalent.
Okay, do we need to specify something along the lines of the right to wear personal protective equipment?
Yes,
So that we retain the right to wear personal protective equipment.
In public spaces, I guess, something like
Yeah.
I guess what the proposals are, well, for the right to wear personal protective equipment and to prohibit mask bans. Right?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. All right. Are you having fun taking notes, Pamela?
Yes, I am, and that's why these meetings are recorded.
Yeah, good. Okay, so we have we didn't get a second yet.
So I can offer a second.
Yay. Okay. So how do people are we ready to vote, or does there need to be discussion about whether we support this?
Seems
All
like
right,
we're ready to vote.
we're gonna
Yeah.
vote. Okay. All right, all in favor of the motion to endorse the right to wear PPE in public spaces and to oppose mask bans in Massachusetts, say yes.
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 Yes. Okay. All opposed, say no. Since I heard everybody on the yes, we're not going to have a no. Okay. So we have done that, and I can write I guess what I need to, we have to write a letter to the town council because we're going, Ian, you're going to send me those two numbers. And then we can write to the town council and tell them what we did today.
Yes.
Okay. All right. We have anything else that we need to discuss at the moment?
I do have two quick things that I would like to bring to your attention under the 48 hours rule.
Okay.
Where we are also supposed to call for public comment, but we have no public
Right.
in our meeting. So the two quick things are I
Minutes.
received an email from Meg Bandera concerning the environmental bond bill and the Trails for All Act. And so what her email says, and I'm not sure if I forwarded this to you, but I will. So it's not all bad news. There are some mentions of accessible trails in the bill, but without the structure for Trails for All, the inclusion of accessible trails is not guaranteed. But most importantly, the legislature now has the opportunity to make changes to the bond bill if they hear from constituents. And so she's asked that I share with you all a newsletter. So that came in on last Wednesday. I will forward it to everyone if I haven't done that already. So the bill did not pass as she had wanted it to. And then secondly, I did ask Angela Mills about whether there were applicants for the vacancy for the commission. There are 4 applicants. She
Ooh.
has not scheduled a time for interviews, and I will, after this meeting, Myra, send you and Jim an email to see when you might be available for meeting with the applicants, and probably in August. She said sometime later this summer. So
Great. Okay.
the town manager's office is concentrating on filling vacancies in the boards where there are more than one vacancy, so that those boards can have a quorum. And since we can meet in quorum without this one vacancy, we're a little farther down on the list.
Okay.
So
Okay.
those are my 2 updates.
Great. Well, thank you. Do we have minutes? I didn't get any.
So I think we're gonna have a delay in the minutes. I did send them this morning, but I somehow neglected to send them in advance. So we'll hold them over and do June and July at the same time. And I'm trying to track down the May minutes. I'm not sure what happened to them. So
I wasn't even there. That's when I was at the MOD training.
yeah.
So that would be really good for me to have.
Right.
Okay, so the question has arisen by me, whether we should have an August meeting. And I don't know how people feel about it. We have to meet 10 times a year. And so that means we get 2 times that we don't have to meet. And I wondered how people feel about an August meeting. Don't all answer at once.
So I, for one, will say I'm happy to skip August and have a reprieve, but I will also be here if needed be.
How does everybody else feel about it?
I'll echo what Pamela just said.
Okay. Cody?
August is busy for me, but I'm in the same boat. I'm happy to meet if necessary.
Okay. You're happy to meet if necessary, but otherwise we don't need to. So that right?
Correct.
Okay. And Jim?
Yeah, it doesn't matter to me.
I don't care. Okay.
Should,
Well,
should I make a motion that
Pamela
we
sounds a
don't
little
meet in
burned
August?
out, so maybe it makes sense to skip, you know?
wait, say that again, Jim. I missed the beginning.
Pamela sounds a little burned out, so it may be good to skip.
I'll go ahead and make a motion that we don't meet in August. This is Ian.
Okay. Then is there a second?
I will second it.
With reluctance, I can hear. Okay. All right. So this is good. We'll see what we need to vote. All in favor of not having a August meeting? Say yes.
Aye.
Okay.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Okay. And all right. So we're not going to have an August meeting. We're going to have a September meeting. It'll be power packed. And let's see, what date would that be? It would be August 12,
September
September
9.
9.
I think it's the 9th, actually.
September 9. 9/9.
Myra, I just pulled up the Senate bill, and actually it turns out Joe Comerford is already a signatory on it. So if we could just send something to her to thank her for it, and then send a thing to Mindy Dom to ask her to sign it.
Yeah, what we're sending is to the town council to ask them to support it.
Got it. Yep.
Okay. So because we want the
Do you have
town,
the Senate number?
yeah, I need those numbers. Can you email them to me? Because I'll write the thing to the town council with the numbers.
Yeah. But
That's what
I
I
have them.
need.
I have them right here.
Okay, can you send them?
I'll send them afterwards. But Senate Bill number 1427 and House Bill number 1981.
Oh, that's a different number than you had before. Okay. All right.
And Ian,
So,
if you could send me your anything that you have too, because I want to investigate this so I can really be prepared for council.
Sure.
Thank you.
okay.
Yep.
But if you can just email both of us the numbers, that would be helpful. That way I can write the letter to the council. And so I'm writing one letter to the council, asking them to support these. And the reason is that, wait, we didn't discuss this well enough to give them reasons. We voted to do it.
Well, so I view it as a accessibility issue because for people with long COVID, for people with immunocompromised systems, for people affected by COVID in general, having the ability to be out in public and still protect themselves is
Right.
essential and a necessary issue for accessibility.
Yeah, I would go further than COVID. I would say any kind of chronic conditions, anything that people who have compromised health need to be able to protect themselves without having anybody question it. Okay. All right. So we need a motion to adjourn, I think.
I saw,
will most
I- Cody gets the credit. Okay, we have a second.
I second.
Okay. All right. So all in favor of adjourning?
Yes.
I
Yes.
Aye.
Yes. Okay. And we will see you on September 9. This is great. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful, oh yeah, we'll see you. No, we'll see you on July 16th,
16th,
hopefully.
Right, yes.
Right.
yeah,
At,
don't forget.
right. Don't forget the July 16th at 4:30.
At
No,
4
4
o'clock.
o'clock.
4
I'm
o'clock.
sorry. You said that twice and I just, yeah. 4 o'clock at Town Hall, in the front of Town Hall. And then we can go over to the movie at the Banks.
That is correct. All right. I will
Perfect.
see everyone next
Okay.
week.
Great. Thank you.
Bye.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye.